So I told you guys that I switched my truck from so initially I had a Ram 2500. It was a 2018 Cummins diesel, right? And it was a mega cab, and I wasn't hauling anything, I wasn't doing anything with it to utilize it being such a powerful truck, right? Being able to pull fifth wheels and stuff, I wasn't doing that anymore. And so I decided I was going to go to a 1500. So I bought a 2020 Ram 1500, runs on gas. And it was a nice truck. It was Laramie. It was fully loaded, sunroof, all that stuff, center console. And I had that one for a little over a year. And then I started getting these phone calls. These dealerships wanted to buy my truck, and they were offering me more money than I actually paid for it. That truck, fully loaded Laramie, which had a panoramic sunroof, a 12-inch screen, we paid $51,000. I'm sorry, we paid $48,000 for it. These dealerships were offering me $54,000 all the way up to $58,000 for my truck. This is pandemic time, maybe a few months ago. There's the chip shortage. They couldn't get trucks, and the Ram 1500s were greatly affected by this, right? So they needed these used trucks, these dealerships. So they were offering to give me a lot more than what I paid for it, and I even had 37,000 miles on it. I bought it with like 3 miles on it. So I'm like, you know what? I want to go back to diesel. I feel like they get better mileage. They just run better. They'll run longer, right? It's just a better truck. They're more expensive. You can haul stuff in it. I mean, it's a much better engine and better truck, right? So, but I thought, man, I don't want to. There were things I did not like about my 2020, which is the new body style. I think it's the 5th gen, right? So I had a 4th gen, the 2018 2500. Had a center console, 8.4-inch Uconnect. And so when I looked at the 2020s, I loved that center console in that 2018, right? It had a real deep pocket right under the controls on the dash, like for the air conditioning stuff. Like, I had a deep pocket down there, space to store my phone, had a big deep pocket for a center console that lifted up in the middle, right? It lifted up right here in the middle. 2 cup holders, had the spot between the 2 cup holders, so you could put, if you had a coffee cup with a handle on it, things like that. And the cup holders were good size, so I ended up like I said, I traded that in, got the 1500. And they had these new center consoles, and these center consoles have like 2 cup holders in it, and it slides back and forth in the middle. That the cup holders do. Well, I thought it was really cool. I'm like, yeah, that's good utilization of space, right? And well, I didn't like it. So there were multiple reasons why I didn't like it. Number one is if you look inside that center console of the 5th gen Rams that have center consoles, they have a fill line in there, and you can't put more than that in the bottom of your center console, because if you do that, you can't slide those cup holders back, because they take up like 5 or 6 inches of room inside your center console. And now I'm not like a pack rat or anything, but it's only about an 1.5 to 2 inches of stuff. So, pandemic times, we had like those disposable masks in there in a box. The box was too tall, couldn't slide it back. And then we got a shorter box, you could put it in there, but then if you had anything else in there, it was impeding that cup holders from sliding back and forth. And then the cup holders were smaller, and if you had cups in it, you had to take them out to slide it back, and you slide it back so you can access the front portion of the center console. There's a little trap door in there that you can flip up so it keeps stuff from sliding forward. The part where you can stick your phone to hold it was smaller, so my iPhone didn't. I mean, they're so big. iPhone's so big now, they don't fit anywhere, but they definitely don't fit in there. You know, it just it seemed it was a good idea, but it just did not seem like it was worth the while. So when I decided to trade my 1500 in for the 2500, I decided. So I had a Bighorn, I think it was a 2015 Bighorn, and it didn't have a center console, had a bench seat in it, and it had it does have somewhat of a center console. So the bench seat, the middle flips down. Has kind of a center console, and I'll show you that. This is what my 2500 in it has. I wanted to go back to that because I thought that was great utilization, great storage. I mean, it was just, there's so much storage in it. So I ended up not wanting a center console in my 2500. I had a 12-inch screen in my 2020. It was cool, but in reality, the air conditioning controls and the stereo controls and all that stuff, it was essentially half that bottom half of the screen, other than when you had your nav up. Your nav would utilize the whole thing, but I mean, you don't need a screen that ginormous to see a map. And then the navigation in Chrysler's navigation, it's okay. Now we all use mainly Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever, because you plug your phone in, CarPlay takes over, and then you look it up on your phone anyways. So it was just, I would utilize my phone probably more than I would my Chrysler nav. So I opted not to get a 12-inch screen. I didn't need nav. The sunroof was cool in my Ram, but we'd open it up, then the kids were like, it's too bright or whatever. I just never really utilized it. So I'm like, I don't need a sunroof. I wanted leather, heated seats are nice, so I got heated seats. But I didn't need all the fancy stuff. My Ram, they have these automatic headlights that turn on the high beams, they go on and off. Those are cool, but it is so sensitive that if your headlights shine on a road sign, it must think it's a car, and then they turn off. And if you're driving down like the road going to our house, it's dark at night. There's a lot of directional signs, black and yellow directional signs saying, there's a curve coming up, and then it has like multiple signs in the curve, so you know where the curve's at, stuff like that. Speed limit signs and, all kinds of signs. Man, I'd drive down my road, headlights were just flashing. It was ridiculous. And then if you have oncoming traffic, they turn off and on. It was just, I just ended up not even utilizing that. And anytime I was driving down the road, if it shined on road signs, it would think it was, and it was headlights, and it would dim them. It was just annoying, so I turned that feature off. So I didn't even need that. It was a cool feature. I would say that the biggest feature that I liked about it was the automatic wipers. This truck does not have the automatic wipers that turn on when it starts raining, but it's not a big deal to reach over and turn on your wipers. It's not a big deal to turn on your high beams and turn them off. Be courteous. It makes you pay attention more. I don't know, whatever you want. Maybe you don't want, maybe you're lazy, or maybe you just like that stuff. So anyways, this truck has, parking sensors, proximity sensors. It's got the engine brake. It's got towing. It's 4-wheel drive. So anyways, essentially it's the same truck though. But the center console was the biggest thing, and I'll tell you why, show you why actually. So this is my water that I take with me, and this did not fit at all in my center console of my 1500. The cup holders were too small. So here's the center console. This is a bench seat. This fits in the cup holders, in all three, and it's got 3 cup holders. Not only that, there's cup holders down there in the base of the door, right? Just like the 1500. This has storage in here. There's 3 cup holders here. It's got this, I throw my phone down here. I can throw whatever I need down here. Little storage area. It's got storage in the dash right here. And then, like I said, it has storage here, and It also has a storage that's in here. That's where I mounted a safe to put valuables. So it's got tons of storage in there. Now, unless you know this truck, you won't know that there's storage down here. You really can't tell. It just looks like this flips up, it turns into a bench seat. The truck seats 6 people. It's got a seat belt in the middle. So, you know, my 1500, there was only 5 people would be able to fit in it. This actually fits 6, so I can fit one more. I don't know how many times we didn't take that truck because, you know, we had me and my wife and 2 kids, and then like the kids would have like a friend and a kid or 2 friends or whatever, and we needed 6 seats. My wife's Expedition seats 7. This seats 6. So if we need to take the truck, you know, my wife can move over, sit in the middle, a friend can sit over there, whatever. It's kind of cool. This is just so much more utility. The back seat flips up. There's good storage. This has, you know, audio system. It's got the Alpine system in it. And back behind the center console, there's chargers just like the 1500. There's vents for air conditioning that you can blow on the kids back there, so, you know, or a heater or whatever you need. But anyways, so I ended up switching to this 2500 because it just, and it's diesel, which I highly recommend. This thing is averaging on the driving that we're doing, which is just daily driving. You know, going to the grocery store, picking up the kids, going to baseball practice, whatever we need to do, softball practice. We're averaging between 20 and 23 miles to the gallon. When I'm on the highway, I mean, I can get from 22 to like, sometimes I'm up to like 24, 25 miles to the gallon. My wife's Expedition is only averaging about 17 to 18 miles to the gallon. Even on the highway, that thing only getting like 19 miles to the gallon. So this can get better gas mileage than my wife's. I fill this up, 26 gallon tank, and I can go 580 to 630 miles on a tank of diesel. So yeah, diesel's a little bit more expensive, but you know, and then I'll get more mileage out of this. Oil changes are a little bit more if you take it to the dealership. If you do it yourself, you could probably do it. And now mind you, you're changing your fuel filters too. You've got 2 fuel filters that you change out when you do your oil changes, but you go about 10,000 miles in this thing, 12,000 miles without changing the oil in this thing. You got to put DEF in it, but I have another video about the silver DEF transfer can. So if you're going on a long trip or something, you don't have to worry about, like, you can bring your own DEF. It's $2 at the pump. Whereas if you go into like AutoZone or gas stations or whatever, it's anywhere from 11 to like, you know, all the way up to $20 for 2.5 gallons of that stuff if you buy it in the box. And that's the dumb thing too, DEF. We all know, diesel owners know DEF is stupid. Yeah, diesels don't cause that much pollution, and here they are worried about the environment, but yet all these people are buying DEF in these 2.5 gallon containers that are in a box in a plastic container, which we know, okay, the box maybe over 50 years or whatever, it breaks down or is recyclable or whatever, but that plastic container, you don't recycle it, you throw it in the trash can. Now you could refill those, you could buy one, refill the little 2.5 gallon thing at the pumps. Silver Transfer DEF does sell 2.5 gallon refills. I bought a 5 gallon jug. So you could get a 2.5 gallon refill jug so that when you go to the pump, you can fill up your truck and you could put 2.5 gallons in that. And, you know, I could easily put 2.5 gallons in this. And since the last time I put DEF in it, I think I've driven maybe 400 or 500 miles. So 1,000 miles, you need to, we'll say 800 to 1,200 miles, depending on if you're pulling. When I was pulling a 5th wheel, my DEF I was using a lot more. It was just a lot more gas, you know, because if you're utilizing more diesel to drive your truck, you're going to utilize more DEF. So they kind of go hand in hand. Anyways, this is a great truck. That's why I switched over from a 1500 to a 2500 diesel again. Those of you who know me, this is, I think it's my 6th Ram, and I don't trade them in because I'm like, I haven't yet to lose money on any of my trucks. And I'll put about 30 to 50,000 miles on a truck, all my last Rams, and then I'll trade them in, and I get more money than I paid for. So wait till like Ram days or whatever, buy your Ram on sale. I'm telling you, these places give you, some of these dealerships will give you more money for your truck than what you paid for it if you just wait and get it on sale. Maybe I'm getting lucky, I don't know. Now you can't because of this chip shortage. If you trade in your vehicle right now, they're gonna pay you more, but then you're paying more for a truck. I got lucky on this one. I got a good deal on it. It was used, had 5,000 miles on it. It's a 2020, and I got it, I think I got it for like $1,500 below Kelley Blue Book trade-in. The guy I bought cars from him before, so that's why he kind of gave me a deal. But yeah, so that's why I traded in my 1,500. So don't miss the 12-inch screen at all. Don't miss gas at all. Don't miss the center console at all. Center console was, like I said, useless. I thought it was a great idea. I got in it and used it, and then I was like, the first time I had to move my cup holder back and I had stuff in the back, I had to like not move it back, and then I had to lift it up. I had to pull stuff out to be able to slide it back because I had something that had fallen in the console underneath the cup holders. It was just a pain in the butt. I was like, man, that's a pain in the butt. And then, you know, I had drinks in there one time. I was going to move it back. My wife had to hold the drinks, and then I could slide it back. But then there was something in the back. You know, sometimes I like to take my hats off. I throw them in the center console, or throw them on my dash. If I don't throw them on my dash, I'll throw them in the center console. It's just that the storage utilization was just not there. This thing has a ton of storage in it. It has the same on the dash, you know, has the little dash glove box, and it has a upper and a lower glove box on the passenger side. But I would definitely not go with the center console if I ever bought it, unless they change it and they bring back or something similar to what I had in my 2018 and the 4th gens. But those new center consoles and the new Rams, I just don't like them at all. And like I said, the 12-inch screen, whatever, mine does exactly this. My 8.4-inch Uconnect in my Laramie that had nav did the exact same thing that my 12-inch screen did, just on a smaller screen, which is still a pretty big screen, 8.4 inches. You have this giant screen. It's really just controls for your air conditioning. There's really no other, I don't even know if it was convenient. It was just, you know, there's something about positive feel dials and things like that, right? So anyways, that's my story. That's why I switched back to a 2500 diesel. And this is a Laramie. It's granite crystal, that's the color or something like that of the truck. But yep, that's why I switched back over. So